Welcome back, my friends. This is William M. Briggs, and this is another episode of Uncertainty and Probability Theory, the Logic of Science, sort of. This is a plea to you to pass this class on to other people who might need it, or to help support this class. I'll give you some details in a second. Next week, I think I might organize the classes into a helpful way of looking at them. Right now there's 70 classes. We've done 70 so far, plus a couple of other videos. The problem with that is a lot of people want to learn this subject, perhaps, and they look at this list and it's somewhat intimidating. We got 70 videos, each is at least a half hour, 45 minutes long, and they look at this list and they think there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. I'll get to it someday. Well, I didn't mean it to be that way. A lot of these things are in segments, chunks. You know, 2 or 3 videos in a segment or a chunk. I try to minimize math all along this, as regular viewers know, so that you don't have a lot of prerequisites in mathematics or something from one segment to the next, although there is that sometimes. So I'll try to reorganize that better, and I want you to be able to find these things in a good way to, an easy way to do that. So I'll facilitate that. Right now, and I'll post this, I'll try to post the image over here or the link or something like this so you can see it. But you can go to this site, substack.com, or leave out the Substack. And there'll be a list of all the classes that you can find and their titles and that kind of thing. They're not always so helpful, the titles. I am the world's worst title writer. But let me just, I should have started this with the idea I wrote about it. I'm going to have a link down below. And you can see the link here. But a lot of our guys are interested in microplastics. These are the substances that are found, made in manufacturing various things, and they get everywhere because of that, and into our food, and therefore into us. Now, that sounds bad. It doesn't sound good. Is it bad? Well, probably it is. I don't know. But the problem is, our guys are touting a lot of these papers that say it's bad for this or that particular thing, and those papers use exactly the same kinds of methods that I have been showing you are false, or that guarantee over certainty, or give you a false idea of cause. It's one thing, we look at these papers, and I got lots of videos on these and lots of articles on these, like in, I can't say the words because the algorithm will get me. This fake subject, whoops, this fake subject, or this one during the panic. I can't say these things because the algorithm will snag me. There's, you know all about the censoring they do and so forth. But we've looked at hundreds of these things. I've looked at hundreds of these papers over the years, just endless numbers of them. And in medicine, all kinds of papers to show you these techniques. And I'm trying to teach you these techniques, how to do it right, and how everybody else does it wrong. Well, you can't nod your head along with me on these things and then say, well, this other evidence therefore must be good because it aligns with the things that I have in my head, like microplastics must be bad or something. And I'm in no way saying they're good. Just check yourself there. I'm in no way saying they're good. But the evidence used for these kinds of things is the same way they use evidence in these things. And all of that is wrong. All right? It's done in the wrong way. Not all of it. I don't mean to exaggerate, but I say much of it. And I've shown you in the class, as we've done this over a course of almost 2 years now, why that's the case. All right? So I want you to consider this particular video a grant application. What my goal has always been, and my plan has always been, to give away everything free. All my writing, all my lectures, even the book Uncertainty, I've given you almost the whole of it, and I haven't given you the whole of it yet because we haven't got through the entire class. I'd say we're about 2/3 of the way through the class, and so eventually you'll get the entire book free. You don't have to spend money on it. But there'll be a lot of people who can afford it and are benefiting from this class and would like to see other people take this class. And those people I would ask for support. You could do that. A few people have very generously donated some money to me on YouTube. The problem is I can't collect it. It's not very much. It was everything anybody gives, the widow's mite. I'm exceedingly humble and grateful for anything anybody gives me. I have somebody who subscribes to me for $1 a month and has done so for several years. And this pleases me probably more than anything else because to show that kind of loyalty is very touching to me. So I appreciate that. It's not that. It's the idea, and YouTube gives me the money, but I can't collect because in order to collect the money from YouTube, you have to have certain requirements. I meet them all except one. You have to have 4,000 hours of viewing content over a 1-year period, a rolling 1-year period. I have a steady about 3,000 hours. It sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, depending on the videos of the year. But this is not world-shaking stuff. It's not politics or anything like that. So I don't have thousands of hours of views a week or a month or something like this. I just have a nice steady thing. So the money just sits there and I can't touch it. But there's other ways, and you can go to this. You can subscribe at Substack. This is what I would like everybody to do. Even if you don't want to pay, that's absolutely fine. If you can't afford this, if you think, it's a little too much, don't give anything if you don't want to spend anything. But I would like you, if you can, it would be very generous of you just to subscribe. And there'll be a button you'll see that you'll be able to do it here on YouTube or at Substack. And that helps me in the algorithm and all that kind of stuff to attract the attention of people. Now, I can't teach this stuff at a university. They won't let me. It's not that I have been canceled. It's true, I have been canceled for political reasons, but maybe the politics are changing and so forth, and maybe that could be overcome or something. I'm not too worried about being canceled. I don't care. But even if I would not be allowed to teach what I teach at a university. I have a link to the story of, I didn't write this, so you'll have a lot of fun reading it. And this story has been repeated time and time and time and time again in science. Some guy came up with a unique idea and showed that his idea was true. And what did science do? Did science rally behind him? Bureaucratic science, the Journal, the Lancet, and all these places, did they come and support him and congratulate him and say, you're right, this new way of looking at things is just the idea? No, of course they destroyed him. They attacked him personally, viciously, sustainedly, and the poor guy died an early death. And then only later, and at the time, of course, the Lancet was the journal at the time, and still we've attacked innumerable Lancet articles, condemned him utterly and said his ideas can no way be true and so forth and so on. But afterwards, it became glaringly obvious that he was right, that bacteria caused cholera in this particular case, that they had to give in. And then they awarded themselves the distinction of recognizing this and taking his credit for the man they destroyed's work. So, and this happens time and time and time and time again in science. And it's rightly been said, science advances one funeral at a time, or even mass funerals at a time. That's the only way it's going to be done. Now, I have given you several lectures that said, for instance, every use of p-value, we proved this. We have formally proved this. Every use of p-value is a fallacy, for instance. This is just one of my heresies. Not a political heresy, a scientific heresy. Every use of p-values is a fallacy, can't be done, should not be used. You're always fooling yourself, absolutely every time, with no exceptions. I would not be allowed to come into a university and teach that. I would have to teach whatever the Stats 101 course is, or Probability 101, or whatever the series of courses are, and I would have to teach the textbooks that they have adopted using the methods and material that I say are just plain wrong, and that I've done 70 lectures on to show you why, starting from absolute scratch and building up this epistemology that we have, because probability is epistemology, until we learn how to deal with all this kind of evidence in a very sane and sober way. Not as a dramatic a way as the methods that, like p-values, will give you, but in a way that does not lead to over-certainty. It would not lead to the reproduction crisis. It would tell us a proper place for ourselves and how we think of things in the universe, because probability is just how we deal with evidence, how we know what we know. That's the subject of epistemology. And in doing that, we, of course, also have to know what there is to know of what we can know. And that's part of epistemology and partly ontology. We need to understand the way the world works and so forth. So I've been emphasizing cause and how much we cannot know cause. Usually we can't, but we often claim we can. So all those things we meet in the class and so forth. But I would not be allowed to teach this method. I might be allowed to teach it at some graduate seminar, something like this. Once people get advanced enough, the students are, that they've been thoroughly brought up into this faith to wave their p values in everybody's faces, then I might be allowed to teach stuff. But you have to teach the party line, the scientific party line, the consensus, and whatever. If it's in this field, you have to preach the consensus. If it's in this field, you have to preach the consensus. You're not allowed to deviate from it, except in minor ways, which are really just agreeing. And that's the story all throughout science. I have a whole chapter of this in the book, Everything You Believe is Wrong. That's also on the website and so forth. And you could read that. That's free to read too. So meanwhile, if you do subscribe, you get however many videos, not that many, 1 a week, something like this, perhaps 2 on good weeks. But Substack, you'll get 4 emails a week, roughly, sometimes less, and very rarely more, but usually 4 emails a week. And not every subject will be interesting to you. You can just delete those. You're not compelled to look at any of them. But just subscribing would help me, because that helps other people find this material. And a lot of it may be repetitive for you once you've got into the idea of this thing, but there's a lot of people who don't understand this, especially working scientists who should. So that's it. That's all I have for this particular class. And next week, I think what I'll do is I'll just have an organization of the class. I'll kind of show you what we've done in big blocks. The website will be set up better for this by then. And I'll show you where we're going and what we still have yet to do. So thank you very much. Again, here's the site. And I can't express my gratitude enough for those people who have stuck through all 70 lectures. God bless you all. It's amazing that you have done so. And thank you very much. That's it.